Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I bring to you the warmest greetings of our Right Honourable Prime Minister, Dr. Ngurari, who really, you know how he feels about the May 12th movement. And in his heart, he wanted to be present here today, and he couldn't. And therefore, I am now standing in for him and bringing to you his revolutionary greetings and his warmest appreciation to everyone present. I'm deeply honored, therefore, and delighted to be representing the Right Honourable Prime Minister in receiving this generous donation of the 400 coffee table books, I'll come back to that, for our schools and public libraries, made possible through the support, the generosity and the commitment of our esteemed stakeholders. I just want to take a very brief moment to share with you information relating to our libraries as well as our archives. I think it's important to know where we started when the country became independent and where we are today. Our ministry is overseeing a network of 68 public libraries countrywide, 68, and over 500 functional school libraries, the National Library and the National Archives of Namibia, as well as different libraries in various OMAs, various line ministries. Esteemed ladies and gentlemen, as we have heard from the previous speakers, donation of books is one of the greatest gifts that can be presented to a nation and its people. And more so if that is a coffee table book with the precious moments captured in the various stages of the life of the late Dr. Shafiishuna Nujoma. I think it represents a strong commitment not just to education, which he held in high esteem, but also knowledge sharing, literacy development, and especially the preservation of cultural heritage. I'm particularly pleased that we have chosen to host this event on the birthday of the founding father of the Namibian Nation. We've actually heard the correct terminology, that it is the founding president and father of the nation, as it was said. That is something that we all need to keep in mind, that title. I think it's not just a meaningful gesture, I think it was well thought through, knowing that it was already launched on the 4th of June 2025. And there has been so many events where we could have had it, and yet it has been postponed to 2026. One of his quotations that relates strongly to today's occasion is when he stated, and I quote, "I believe it's common knowledge amongst us that an educated nation is an informed nation. A nation informed to make key decisions, strategic decisions based on evidence." What we have here is a collection of beautiful pictures capturing various moments, various events, various stages in the life of the late Dr. Sam Nujoma. I'm therefore humbled, esteemed ladies and gentlemen, to say that your generous gesture will undoubtedly touch and transform many a life, particularly those of the learners, our youth and communities who will benefit from these beautiful books. This contribution, no doubt, will leave a lasting impact on our society, and for that we remain most sincerely grateful and deeply appreciative. I also wish to commend you for the bold and commendable decision to donate these books to our schools and the public libraries, because where would we have the funding or a child from the rural communities, a child from humble households, where will we ever, even myself as a minister, have access to a book this beautiful unless it's purchased? already you allowed us to overcome a barrier of financial means by making this book available for our children. And therefore, it should be made available for children. In 5 years' time, these books must be so tattered. They must be handled. They must be sat with, and we must drink in the history of the figure that is represented in here. And what does that mean for us as modern day children born in an independent Namibia? How far do we trace back the sacrifices that are made? There are too many untold stories still of those who lay down their lives for our liberation. We are honored, therefore, and most grateful for the collaborative efforts that has been put in place to put together this book. And I wish to state here that we do not take it for granted. We value this immensely. And therefore it is for those from grassroots level, whether they are children, whether they are youth, whether they are researchers, whether it's members of the public, our libraries will remain the primary source, and sometimes, sadly, the only source of information for our people. And that's why libraries must be accommodative spaces with friendly staff members who know exactly how to provide the required services to the people, irrespective of where they come from, irrespective of age, irrespective if they're academia or researchers, or whether they're just a child like me. When I was in 1986, when they opened the library in Karasburg, I was in Standard 6. It was the first time, Honorable Dr. Nasangula, that the White Library was opened for us. And I would walk kilometers to that library to have access to books. Let us reignite the fire for reading, the fire for appreciation of our cultural heritage and where we come from as a country. As a ministry, we acknowledge the many competing priorities that we continue to face, including the shortage of classrooms, the provision of textbooks, and also within the budget allocated to us, a lack of other specific resources. However, despite these various challenges, we remain firmly committed to the understanding that knowledge is one of the most valuable assets for sustainable development. How do we guard our knowledge, our history, our heritage? How do we guard it jealously? As an individual, but also as a person who's gainfully employed, and a person like Honorable Dr. Nasangula, Dr. Kawana, who has already retired. They've done their part for this country, and yet they still continue to do so. So I think we need to ask ourselves key critical questions. How can I still continue to contribute, to mentor, to coach, to share, to guide, to support, to educate, to inform, and to serve my country in the capacity and with the skills and knowledge that I have? I want to reassure you that as a ministry, we are making every possible effort to ensure that our libraries and archives are adequately resourced and strengthened, as these institutions provide our learners with access to educational materials, provide support to our researchers in the academic and professional pursuit, and also equip communities with information that would enhance their livelihoods, inform their decision making and their problem solving skills and overall societal development. And today's donation, esteemed Ambassador, therefore strengthens our ongoing support and efforts to improve access to information services across the country. It also reflects the importance of partnerships in advancing literacy, education, and cultural preservation. All these are issues of which our late Dr. Sam Nujoma has been very passionate and vocal about. And not just that, he invested in it tremendously. Government alone, as we always say, would fail if we do not take the hands of all our partners, both in public spaces but also in the private and development partners, our stakeholders in our communities, to help us build with the required support and collaboration. I would like to particularly recognize with sincere appreciation the continued support of the Embassy of China. Thank you, esteemed Ambassador. You could have chosen to invest in a different field altogether, and yet you returned again to education once more. Your commitment to the advancement of education, literacy, and knowledge development has remained truly commendable, and it is still remarkable. We are especially grateful that this is not the first contribution of its kind, as our libraries have previously benefited from the generosity in terms of the donations of books from the Embassy in 2025 as well. This consistent support clearly shows us the value that we have in this partnership and the shared commitment towards education and cultural development. I wish to equally extend my sincere appreciation, that of our ministry, from our children to the Nujoma Foundation, also to the NEPC, and thank you very much for making the choice of being here today, part of this very historic and weighty moment for me. I would like to equally extend a special appreciation to Honorable Dr. Nasangula. Thank you, sir, for your unwavering support to all our initiatives, particularly programs that are aimed at promoting reading, a reading culture and literacy development. Honorable, I really wish to acknowledge your presence and guidance and your continued encouragement to honest and hard-working ethics.
Thank you.
Not just in education, but everywhere. We value that deeply, and it's highly appreciated. We are always truly honored and privileged that you grace our events. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by saying we will distribute these books as requested by the family, as requested by our partners, to all identified libraries, and really encourage our communities, especially the youth, our educators, and researchers to make full use of this coffee table book. The coffee table book only made its inroads into the English vocabulary in 1961 for the first time when it appeared in an arts magazine. And it is generally viewed as a book with a very expensive book, first and foremost, very expensive book, a coffee table book, generally viewed and appreciated for its beautiful big pictures that are in it. As you can see, I've just opened it up at any given place. But they say a picture speaks 1,000 words. And can you imagine, in the 1800s, they used to cut off the legs of the tables so that people could sit and have access to their coffee and have access to books that they were looking into. All that we want are for these books to be accessible, so that everybody can ponder on these pictures, so that they can create stories of what they think this picture means to them in an independent Namibia. So in general, this is a very expensive book, clear, big photographs honoring the late comrades, but every picture tells a story. Just like we all have stories locked within us. And therefore, I want to end by saying I was truly touched when Honorable Nas Angula mentioned traits such as compassion and generosity. All of us have memories of our late Dr. Nujoma. Whatever memory it is, whatever fondest of memory it is, whether it is his laughter, the way he was speaking, whether it is his charisma, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure as my esteemed elders are sitting here, Dr. Kawana, Dr. Nasangula, they can tell you the fondest of stories. What is it that we as a new generation can do to honor the legacy on this very birthday? by being kind, by being generous with our time, generous with our care and love, by building character, by focusing on things that will require honest deliberations, truthful commitment. Those are the things that we can commit today, and none of it costs any money. And therefore I'm appealing to our youth to think which two values of our late Dr. Nujoma would you wish to emulate in your life and build on that. Esteemed ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, staff from the ministry, Your Excellency, our esteemed distinguished guest from the Nujoma Foundation, I wish to thank you very much for making the time to be with us today. May God continue to bless the work that you do, the influence that you have to imprint on the minds of the youth what is right, what is fair, and what is just as it was always fostered by our late founding father, whose birthday we celebrate. We thank you for these gifts. Thank you very much.